Hello and welcome back to Roll the Bones with the finishing touch. As always, we are joined by our faithful players, Dom and Rob. And I get to ask once again, what happened previously on the finishing touch?
We arrived in the area of the world where there was a large mountain known as the Partisan, and upon it, at the very top, is Highkeep. However, there is a vast settlement that surrounds all of this area, and it was in that settlement we were moving through. We were investigating when all of a sudden we heard noises in the street beyond.
Yes, you did.
We did, and they were chatting in scary voices. Abyssal, I think it was. And when we got a little bit closer, we discovered that it wasn't people. It was 2 Balors, and I want to say 3. Also 2.
Balloons!
What was that?
Balloons!
What happened there? Hang on, I did this, and the balloons came up. What?
Wow.
What?
What sinister action is this?
That's something on your computer.
What? I got it one more time.
Your face is behind it. Try without your face behind it.
What?
Oh, that's weird. Somatic
That's so
components right there. Hang on.
What was that?
Okay, so there's a random balloon function that we have discovered that Mike has some power over. Well, I say power over, it's actually happening free of his influence, it seems.
That is absolutely bizarre.
I thought it was a lighting effect.
Yeah, I thought you did it on purpose. I was like, Mike's doing funny balloons. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Nope,
taking...
I haven't a Scooby.
I thought you were being sarcastic. He was like, well done, you got the number of demons correct. Here's some balloons.
I was just doing this. I was going 2. And then suddenly it just went...
Wow,
There you go.
okay, well, listen, if anyone watching knows the source of Mike's balloons, please let us know in the comments below. Would be good to
I am
know.
on a Mac, so it's maybe that.
Wrong answers only, I think is probably what we want. Anyway, yes, there were many, many demons. I'm going to say that there were 4 Mariliths.
There was only 2.
No, yeah, but I'm going to say there are 4, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But we fought them, and it was a bitter struggle. Some of them fell to instantaneous spell effects. One of them, I believe, got pulled into the reality maelstrom as Bracken split reality asunder for a moment. And the other Balor got imprisoned beneath the earth with the spell imprison. But the other 2 solely lie at Conrad's disposal.
Well, you did do significant amounts of damage with a sphere of ultimate destruction.
I think I only
Absolutely.
clipped him. I can't remember. I thought I only clipped him.
Maybe, but
I can't
certainly
remember.
the description we did was
The first time was chipping away, but then Conrad did a mountain tombstone strike, which lowered his con, which lowered his fort. And
That's
then the
right.
second one you did just
Yes.
ripped him asunder.
That's right, and he knocked him, and the description was you pushed him through it, wasn't it? That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you banish one as well?
Yeah. Sorry, I said imprison. I imprisoned one.
That's, sorry, imprisoned, yes.
Yeah.
Stuck in the earth.
which is more powerful than banishment, and yeah, puts them downstairs. But if anyone comes along with a freedom spell and knows the exact space that I cast it, then they'll be free to cast it. But I don't imagine there's anyone going to be around that. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know, actually, do we? There could be.
We shall see.
Victory was had, though there was none to witness it, for the town is still deserted because they were throwing the Balor. One of them said, "Oh, what is the good of crushing hope, or something like that? What's the good of crushing these people if there's no one there to hope for salvation?" Or something along those lines.
I would consume this one, but without crushing the joy and hope myself, what would be the point?
Yeah, so proper sadistic motherfucker, and obviously taking people away. Our experience in the Abyss has taught us that the demons like to transform other beings into demons. That is sort of like how most of them are born, at least the lower end of the spectrum perhaps, are born in such a way, always from transformation and corruption. So yeah, that was a bit rubbish. But then it was time for a bit of a homecoming.
Yes, so we went to the Vissier household.
Yes, you did.
And visited Conrad's old house, where upon entry he pretty quickly discovered he'd essentially been written out as the story of the Vissiers. They'd repainted a portrait of the family without him in it. Maybe they just painted over him. It's not quite
Painted
sure.
over, yeah.
It's probably a bit cheaper to paint over rather than get a whole new one. And hidden his individual portrait in his room.
Yes.
Which was smaller than the others anyway.
His room.
So poorly treated. Yeah. And Bracken was desperate to uncover the secrets of a tome that the Vissiers had.
Yes.
That is right, yes. It's... Yes, very briefly, remember it was gifted by the Lavaliants several generations ago to the Vissiers, and it was said to have been written by the first family of Lavellis. Unfortunately for Bracken, one, it's very old, and it's in a very cryptic language, just a very archaic one you would not have come across in modern days. So it's going to be a long couple of dedicated days to decipher it, but it's there.
It's a long read.
It's a long read. That is right.
We also discovered that the Vissiers had sort of fallen from favour following Conrad's expulsion, despite the insistence of Conrad's father that banishing his son should have been enough to bring their good name back to the light, as it were.
Yes, it seems from what you've been reading, your family have been... It has not been as quick a thing as simply to exile or banish or ask Conrad to leave. That's always been slightly unclear. But you saw, especially through going through some of the documents, this has been a difficult process for them to claim back their standing and at least bring them to what seems like a position they were at before, but yes, at a somewhat sadistic cost to Conrad. And yes, dinner was shared and sleep was had.
Stibbons cooked for us, didn't he?
Stibbons did.
He did,
Suspicious quiche or two.
Actually, it was possibly pigeon pie. He said it was pheasant, but Bracken was adamant it was pigeon.
Well, he's lied before, so...
Bracken has no trust of his invisible manservant.
He's the invisible servant that cried wolf, definitely.
Cried pigeon.
Cried pigeon, yeah.
He most certainly did. I said, move them there.
The only other thing is, I don't know if it was last session that we saw it or learned of it, but there was also a watchtower that was spied that appears to have a number of magical defenses that Bracken sensed. Could tell that there was powerful magic coming from it.
Yes, it was, because you had the option to go there or to the Vissier house. Both were sort of equal distance from your path.
That's right, yeah. So that's somewhere that Bracken would want to go. I think that's it story-wise. There is one bit of housekeeping that I should mention as well before we begin, unless there's anything else, Michael.
It's all with you.
So as per usual, we have our viewer rewards, which means that you gain bones by watching us here on Roll the Bones, live on Twitch. And you get to spend them by turning them into boons. And you can then grant us rewards. Now, we haven't been doing the bonus D4 boons because there isn't really much need for it in an epic level game such as this. It just seems a bit superfluous. But what I have done is I have now added Bracken and Conrad to the inspiration thing. Now, I think for the time being that can count as inspiration as however Mike wants to use it, or Mike can think of another use or something else to give us in return instead if you would prefer it to be for something else. But all that said, that's that. Yeah, that's all I needed to say.
Well, thank you for actually putting Bracken on there. I saw we did have Matt, who, for our regular viewers, know he is not with us for this campaign, but he has been occasionally dishing out a few bits of inspiration and a little bit of ruination, which I didn't use, but I'll see how I'm feeling down the line.
Well, can you use ruination now that it's over? Inspiration has to be used on stream when you get it.
I suppose you're right, yeah. It passed.
Does it count? Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you can change it, but you have to say if you're changing it first.
Just before.
That's fine.
I'm altering the deal.
Pray
rules have changed.
Further.
But yes, you're right. There was a watchtower with weird magical defences, but we find ourselves... It is the morning, and Stibbons has presented platters of food to your table for breakfast. There is what looks like some squashed orange juice with a lot of the pulp left in it. There is some bread, some old cheeses, still good cheeses though, and some cooked meat. There's some old chutney as well that has been left out.
What kind of meat?
It looks like a chop.
Okay.
Well, not a single chop. It looks like chops.
Like pork chops or lamb chops or
pigeon chops?
It looks like pork.
Very well, Stibbons. You have presented us with a fine breakfast of pork chops.
Yes, sir.
Having never eaten himself, he's not quite sure what's suitable for a breakfast.
He got excited when he was made alive, thinking, maybe I will now indulge in the fancies of reality, like food and drink. And then he died. Again.
Well, he died in battle, so, that isn't my fault, is it? It's always framed. It's always framed like it's my fault, but it isn't my fault. Just saying, that's not my fault.
Sure.
Yeah.
Stibbons gives you a look, Bracken. Should I remain or return to your spectral abode, sir?
Return there. You will be summoned forth again if you are required. Stibbons, you have done well. Thank you.
He's already gone as you're talking.
He's getting more and more of an attitude. Conrad.
What can be done, Bracken? It isn't really. There's no way to punish him, is there?
I mean, I could just cast another Unseen Servant, though I've never really tried. I sort of am used to him.
You could cast two at once and
Or
make them fight.
Stibbons and...
Stubbins.
Stubbins. I was going to say Bibbins. Stibbins and Bibbins.
Stubbins and Bibbins.
But no, that's fine. He has served us well. We have eaten well. Now we must away. I kind of feel like if we proceed towards Highkeep, as anxious as I am to get there for your sake, Conrad, I do feel hesitant about leaving an unknown power at our back. But it is up to you. You are the leader in this land, and I will do as you bid.
No, I agree. I think it'd be foolhardy to leave potential powerful enemies, the ability to flank us.
Does Conrad have anything that enhances his strength, like a magical item?
Does he indeed?
Because I've just realised
No,
that I
don't
could be
think so.
casting things on you.
Do you have a belt of giant strength?
No, he's got a belt of one mighty blow, which I'm sure
You have an amulet of health, though.
delighted to hear. I have an amulet of health, yeah. But that's Constitution, isn't it?
Yes. I was thinking I must have given you some ability items, but
Yeah, you've given me a cloak of charisma, an amulet of health, a decent ring of protection, some very fancy armor. So it's not like I've not been bereft of magical items, just not strength in particular.
okay, just checking.
Well, in battle, I'll do my best to, I can basically quicken pretty much all the time now. So if needs be, I can enhance your strength. But that would last a minute per level, so not that long, but long enough for a battle for sure.
Yeah.
Morning
Curiously.
spells.
Yes. How would Conrad be feeling at this moment? A night in his family home, his portrait in his room.
Yeah. I think he's probably still coming to terms with the fact that his family have tried their best to forget him. And the fact that they're not here is probably also quite off-putting. Even knowing that Highkeep had gone silent, to get there and there be no one would be very worrying. So, yeah, I think concern and definitely still a bit sad.
I mean, I would imagine this is the quietest the Vissier house has ever been. Normally,
yeah, I mean, normally
the
very
family,
bustling.
The work, perhaps the small amount of, help, like the people who work in the kitchens, maybe. It's
Yeah, they're not going to
would
cook
have
for
been-
themselves, are they?
no, they are lords. They have an image to keep.
Exactly.
But yeah, and what about Bracken?
Bracken is trying to remain neutral about this. He's trying to remain objective and level-headed. But the idea of the synod arriving, a terrible order, at least initially aligned and from the Dominion, arriving here, and that sort of, perhaps not corresponding with Highkeep going silent, but certainly added to this mysterious mix, is certainly something he considers to be a problem. He doesn't like them. He has a very, very disruptive past with them, and should he encounter them, he's going to have to make sure he's ready. And to that end, he has prepared some particular spells to ensure that he's going to be particularly good in anti-magic situations, perhaps. He's definitely put his mind to that. So he's feeling, while unnerved slightly, he also feels like he's as ready as he's ever going to be. So,
Yes.
how long will it take for us to get there to that watchtower? What's our best guess? Do we think?
Maybe an hour and a bit. You've got to navigate kind of a bit more of the partisan. Not a long walk by any stretch of the imagination, but still moving up and down the mountain to get back round to it will add a bit of time to it.
I think we should get to it. Today is going to be a busy day. Let us begin it.
No reason to dally.
Aye. Let's go.
Very well. You away, and
away.
You pass back over the partisan, that peak at the centre where where the keep proper resides at the top. And as I mentioned briefly before, a lot of these towers that are near the base of the partisan were designed as a penultimate defence should Highkeep ever be sieged. However, due to the nature of the location of Highkeep within Brigand's Folly, it has never... In fact, since generations past, Highkeep and the surrounding immediate settlement has never been attacked. And as you know, war has not come to these lands prior to the last few months, for as long as you can remember. So these towers have found other uses. Studies, schools, stores, that sort of things. But as you proceed closer, you can see on one particular tower that... There it is. It looks as if the top of the tower is encased in a dome of magic. A dome of crackling, active magic, encasing all of the open bastion at the top in this magical energy.
Do I happen to know what this tower is normally used for? At least, obviously, when I was here last.
This tower was used as a sort of research point for alchemy and magic. Highkeep has never really been the most advanced in magical research or alchemical research, anything like that. But it still made efforts to give places of study for the wizards and the mages, give them places to develop their spells. And you're aware that this particular one used to be home to magical research is probably the easiest way to describe it. But those who were trying to foster their own magic, but explore and experiment other spells.
Okay. Conrad will gesture towards the tower and say, whoever's made use of this has obviously chosen an appropriate place. That is the magician's tower of the area.
Would you share everything that you just learned there, Conrad, about?
Yeah. Just it probably explained by magician. He doesn't know magic very well, so
well, that's it. Because
magic, it's not really a massive part of Highkeep.
Which is what makes Bracken go, at the sheer impressive scale of the magic that it's at work. If you don't mind, Mike, I'm going to do a knowledge arcana to see if I can determine the spell that's at least the most prominent at work here.
Spellcraft, then, please.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I know I did do a spellcraft last session, but I just forgot what it was. I think I remember one of them, but it doesn't matter, it's the same roll.
As a bit of background as well, when Bracken and Conrad first met, Bracken was already the most powerful wizard that Conrad had interacted with, at least, if not.
And he was level 3.
Yes,
time.
exactly.
Yes.
There may have been more powerful wizards around, but Conrad certainly hadn't been around them.
Wow. Okay. 48 is an impressive result. So much so I can probably give you more information that I was going to ask you for another check.
Yeah.
But at 48 I can just... So you detect strands of anti-magic, mage's disjunction, screen, a lot of preventative, defensive magic. But you also sense a lot of divination magic, scrying, and varying levels of powerful divination energy. You are very much aware, with a 48, the Synod have access to some spells that would be more powerful than a single wizard could cast.
Yeah.
But as a ritual, could be achieved by a few dedicated casters.
Oh, absolutely.
And you recognize, although not through maybe direct experience, but from learning, magical seeds. Seeds and components that go into creating personal, individualized spells. This is, for lack of a better description, this is what would be an epic ritual spell. Solo magic would be almost impossible to cast on your own, and has only been achieved by doing it as a ritual, basically.
What are these seeds?
Ooh. You're aware that epic magic is made up of different components that make the spells. Mm-hmm. You have to for example, there's divine seeds in this. There's abjuration seeds, defensive seeds. I can get you the exact type in a moment.
You don't need to. I'm just curious, because I don't have any, so you won't need to. But I'm just curious. Like, I know it's these without having. Just looking at the magic, I'm like, yep, that's from seeds. Like, I don't know why.
You would be aware from your study and from your time in the synods what is like learning in studies. You would have been aware from studies what these kind of things are, but you would never really have encountered them until this point.
Okay.
Like in a class, somebody would have been like, the great wizard, blah, blah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it has been here for some time. That dome was there since we've arrived, and it doesn't look like it's been recast. So, if anything, that's insignificant. The fact that there's
Is it permanent?
Is it permanent, I wonder?
You didn't detect any permanency, or you didn't see any permanency, at least.
Maybe it's being maintained, held there with concentration. Perhaps. My concern is that it's a dome around the top of the tower, which would suggest that whoever's doing this expects like an attack to come from above.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you could rain magic down on a location.
Or from the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, you mean from around
wouldn't
us?
Be nice. Yeah. Not super up.
Well, meteor.
I was thinking mushrooms.
Thank you for reminding me, Conrad. Can you both make a charisma save? Sorry, a will save. Charisma save. A will save, please.
I'm going to add my diamond defense to it, if that's okay.
That is.
Also, is it magical?
Yes.
Is it
Spell-like.
spell or a spell-like ability?
Spell-like.
Because as you know, I only do characters where I get a bonus against
Absolutely.
Obsessed.
Yeah. I don't want to get caught by that. 39.
39, and was that a 21?
Yes, it was a 21 because I can't roll anything above a 5 on my saves, so...
You take 2 charisma drain. As the energy around you just seems to be crushing. Your spirit feels suppressed.
Wow.
Interesting.
And yes, you are right, Conrad. There is... I mentioned this at the start of the last session, so I should just reiterate. The whole of Highkeep currently has... There's an abundance of flora that seems to have come from both the Feywild and the Abyss, and it has invaded into Highkeep itself. Giant mushrooms, vines, just breaking out through the streets, through houses, and almost like an infestation. But within that is also within the air. The closer you are to the peak, the more visible, like the Feywild and the abyssal magic actually is to see. There are faint glows and speckles that seem to move around you. But here, closer to the top, it's almost as if it's getting much thicker.
I'm not necessarily expecting to get an answer to this, but I feel like I should ask, just in case. As we have some small amount of experience with the Fey and Feywild and a decent amount of experience with the Abyss, is our sort of... my working theory is that it's neither the Abyss nor the Fey is cross-germinated between the two. Somebody's forced these two things together to create something new that's a bit of both. You may have already said that that's the case.
It certainly seems this way. It's not exclusively the Feywild, and it's not exclusively the Abyss. There are elements of both. But that's a working hypothesis, and for the time being, you've got no further anything ready to go on. But
I'm a warrior, not a scientist, Jim.
yeah, you're a smasher, not a thinker.
Do I notice any change in Bracken's demeanour with his... I don't know how obvious it is. I suppose it's a -1 to your modifier.
Well, we discussed the fact that we were within an aura last time, so Bracken would probably know that it's affected him.
Do you think that's why he so badly mistreated?
Yeah, he has the mechanical effect of waking up on the wrong side of the bed.
Pretty much.
Love it.
Yeah, just doing, it's just... Yeah, it's just a bit, just one of those days, Conrad, I feel quite morose with this aura upon me.
Well, let's see if we can cheer you up with some interaction with some magic users.
Yes.
I know how you adore other magic users.
I don't know what that's meant to imply, Conrad. I have a deep respect for magic users.
You have a deep disdain for certain ones we've crossed.
If you're referring to certain ones that we've crossed and to those that are perhaps require patrons to give them their magic, then yes, I hold my disdain with them proudly, for they are but subjects to the whims of existential powers.
As much as I would like to say at this point, smoke comes pouring out of Bracken's pocket. It does not.
We have no more use for him.
Summon by accident.
You rang.
Yes, in a
Serrado.
perfectly bad mood to be dealing with these people. He's going to look to the. Is there like the doorway to the tower? Does it look that? Does that look like that's under the same magical effect as all of the others, or is it just the top?
Just the top. In fact, the doorway, there's no any like additional defences. It's not like being boarded up or anything, or there's no sign of like someone set up like a barricade or any additional defences. Just the top.
But that is only what the naked eye can perceive. Bracken holds up his hand and casts detect magic at the door.
You cast detect magic, and there's no magic. There's a faint trace inside of very old, lingering magic, as if people have been like practicing alarms, prestidigitations, that sort of thing. But there's nothing threatening. There's most certainly no magical trap. There's no magical defense that you can tell. But your detect magic is almost pulled up as you're just like, that is a lot above you.
It seems like they have rather focused on the bigger picture rather than perhaps the crucial necessities. There doesn't appear to be any defences on this door, Conrad. But it is from my telling that I believe that to be the case. So if I've made a mistake, then it shall be me that bears the brunt, and Bracken will open the door. I wish we had a rogue.
You open the door to an abandoned study room. In the back of the room, you see stairs that curve up and out of sight, but nothing down here. Bit of dust. A lingering sense of level 1 magic that has been experimented on.
Well, you've all got to start somewhere. I don't know what this...
Exactly.
We've got to start somewhere.
It's more efficient low-level spells. Waste high-level spells on experimentation.
Yes.
So there's nothing below.
No.
Nothing of note.
Absolutely nothing. I mean, it doesn't even look like there's been a lot of traffic through here.
Interesting.
Well, let's not try and hide our presence. I think we've discussed we're not sneaky, so let's just go up. I think the only thing that Bracken will do is he will probably cast... Oh no, I don't need to cast that anymore. He won't cast anything. He'll just say, "Let's go up the stairs."
Yes, let's.
You head up the stairs, and each floor you sort of come to reveals more and an unused floor of magical study, alchemical experiments that have just left to go stale, ingredients that have dried up, some potions that people have been looking at that have lost all kind of luster. and you proceed beyond the third and beyond the fourth floor until you reach the access to the roof. And at this point, it's not letting me shift. There we go. Right, roll 20 on Firefox can just... Okay, can I put you back in the house? I can put you back in the house. I don't want to go back to the house. I don't want to go... What is this?
Oh, we've gone upstairs.
It's
not the upstairs I was expecting.
That is so weird. There we go.
Vissier. Oh.
I had to do this. Right. I don't know what happened there. I had to try anyway. You find your access near the top barred, and you can see the magic in front of you. You can see it blocking your way, and you know stepping through this would potentially be hazardous and risky to the magics upon you, maybe yourselves. But as you kind of reach the opening to the top of the stairs, an individual appears at the top, and he gives you both a look. You recognise the garb of the synod quite easily, Bracken. But he looks at the two of you, then he looks up, gives a nod to someone else, and the magic in front of you seems to open up a doorway for the two of you to pass through.
Conrad will lead the way, allowing Bracken perhaps to not sit back, but sort of more fade into the shadows, probably, as we've discussed his reticence to be discovered by the synod in the past. Conrad would know that powerful magic users, and we've discussed the fact that it might be the synod. Conrad will take the lead, basically.
Fair enough.
Until a time where Bracken would like to comment on magic when Conrad's lack of knowledge holds things up, inevitably.
You step through then?
Yeah, with a look to Bracken first to make sure that he's happy with it, but
Bracken's still casting Detect and Read, so hopefully he'll determine whether or not there's anything hostile waiting for us if we just step through.
You don't sense anything hostile. I mean, you sense... Now you're this close, you can sense the shield itself has elements of... not necessarily disintegration, but a milder version of it. Should someone try to force their way through this barrier, there would be a bit of a sting, shall we say.
Disintegration.
However, it is most certainly not the most... Again, the prominent things here, there's anti-magic, there's disjunction, and all of it seems to be embedded in the wall itself, but inside of that, your magic feels fine. In fact, inside the barrier, everything that's been around you, that aura, that crushing feeling, has gone. Mm-hmm. And granted, unfortunately, the drain has still hit you. But whilst you're in this, any further subsequent rolls wouldn't need to be happening. This is a safe haven.
Got an air filter.
An air filter, yeah. You step in, you can see there are three casters who seem to be focused purely on this barrier, and one who is set up a table, and it all feels quite open. The wind isn't really passing through the barrier too much, so they've set up, as you can see, a couple of beds and just some what looks like research, maps, and a few other things that sits on the table. The individual who came to give you the look is currently... you can see Bracken. He's currently handling a few what looks like divination scrying orbs, and he's just putting them all back down to the table. It's funny. I didn't think anybody else here was unclaimed by this settlement's effects, but it is good to see other life here. Tell me, who are you two?
My name is Conrad Vissier of Highkeep, and as the representative of Highkeep, the only one left by the sounds of it, who the hell are you?
Ah, then you are the first, I must say. When me and my partners here arrived, well, everyone had been claimed. I am Hast, Valabar Hast. I'm one of the lead diviners for the Synod. And he walks back over to you and extends a hand.
Yeah, Conrad will shake his hand and say, and who, pray tell, are the Synod? And what are you doing in Highkeep?
We are an organisation, but for now, all I can say is we did come to speak with the current ruler of these lands, but seeing as, well, they've all been indisposed, we set up shop, as you can see. And while we are here, we are looking for somebody. And I can assure you, once we find them, we'll be on our way.
Could you put his name in the chat, please, Mike?
Of course.
Just trying to keep a track of people's names, so...
And he's one of the lead diviners, or diviners.
Valabar Hast. Very good.
Do you want to give me a level check, Rob, but half?
Okay.
A D10. No, sorry, D10. A modifier of 10.
This is getting worse.
You spent a bit of time away from the... Just give
Not
me
only
one.
half.
Just guess. Just guess. Just guess now.
Tell me
One
what
or
you
two.
think.
20. Dirty 20.
Nice.
You do vaguely remember the name? Not
Yes.
completely concretely, but it does ring a bell. Perhaps you've read it, or maybe you've encountered him before. But there is... Yeah, there is a stirring of memory. But pray tell, have you been here this whole time, or are you
No.
miraculously... Oh,
We just arrived yesterday.
well, that would explain it.
Explain what? What is going on?
Why you still have your wits about you.
I can assure you our wits are not diminished in any way.
Well, that is good to see. But I'm afraid not much can be said of the other people in this place. But was there a reason you came to find us, or was it...
Well, we
Brazen
saw
curiosity.
the enormous magical dome that you'd constructed, and we thought if anyone was still active, it would probably be here.
Yes. Bracken, you can detect a very similar detect spell coming from this chap, as he seems to also now to be sizing the two of you up. What's interesting, however, is he doesn't seem to either speak or move when he casts it. It just sort of appears.
That's right. I didn't speak when I did mine.
We've all got tricks.
Maybe it's a thing. Yes, well, the current effects of the land were not anticipated when we came here, and we had to pull on one of our more potent defense spells to keep this area clean whilst we do our search.
And are you working on fixing it, or are you just having a look around while it's quiet?
Look, between you and me, we are not here to settle the affairs. I know this is your home, my lord. But I can assure you, once we have found what we need, we'll be on our way. Our business here was not with the environs of this place, and from what we can tell, they are unstable to say the least, so don't particularly want to stay here any longer than we can. But I can assure you, we mean you no harm. We are just making use of this space for the time being, and then we will be on our way.
Perhaps if you solved the issue with the difficulties with the surroundings, you may be able to call on the populace to help your search.
I can assure you the populace will not be able to help us with our search, and quite frankly as well, I do not have the personnel to hand to deal with a Feywild abyssal infestation. And I don't fancy going into the Feywild myself at this point. That's just going to slow us down. However, what I do have here is a little bit of provisions, or I can bring some forth if you are hungry. And if you wish, I can get you a chair as well.
A chair? You could conjure us a chair, could you?
If you wish
So
to
glad
sit.
that your deep grasp of magic can stretch to a chair, even though it can't stretch to helping people in such difficulties.
Bracken bites his tongue. He desperately wants to say, "We've had chops."
Hast looks at you, and there is an almost conflict, just a tinge in the way he looks at you. I can assure you, who we are looking for is a much greater threat than this rogue Fey, or whatever it is that seems to have set up shop here. Or a demon, I don't know. Perhaps it's both.
A greater threat than a powerful demon or fey who can outmaneuver this synod, was it? What could possibly challenge such a being?
Oh, it's, I must assure you, we haven't made any attempts to fight it. That's just, we have not enough time. We are against a ticking clock. And I would rather make sure that all lives are preserved, not just the one of this settlement. I understand it is painful for you to hear if this is your home, my lord, but it is a pressing matter, to say the least.
You will pardon me speaking out of turn, Lord Vissier.
No, do go on.
You allude to this search, yet you dance around the specifics. Perhaps we could aid you in this matter. Whom do you look for?
My thoughts exactly. Well said.
He looks at you. And there's an almost confusion. I'm...
Roll a D100. Babbles incoherently.
There is a moment that he just seems to lose composure for a second. Like, my apologies. Have we worked together? I can see you are a very capable conjurer. Sorry, illusionist. Yes, illusionist. Have we worked together?
I can't say I've had the pleasure, no. As I'm sure you're familiar with the role, I am the first voice of the Lord Conrad de Vissier. As I'm sure you're aware, such a role is one of great honour, and I provide insight of all encompassing magical nature to the Lord here. It might be that you encountered someone like me in such a role, but I don't recall ever working with you. Though I think I might have heard your name once or twice. Was it Hast, you said?
It was,
Balors
yes.
Hast. A diviner. Very good. And what do the entrails tell you about this day, diviner?
Pray tell, we're no longer that primitive.
Nothing
blood of
primitive
beasts.
about such an act. There is great power in materials taken from the once living.
Perhaps for those who wander the woodlands and the brambles, but not in the Dominion.
Perhaps.
Radium is right. You see, we're looking for stipends.
The most powerful of...
Unseen servants.
Yes.
So unseen, we can't find him. We fully understand the role of the first voice. I suppose you just... Maybe you look like someone I've worked with before. Forgive me, that was rude of me.
Not at all. I understand that the Dominion doesn't honour these old traditions.
Well, we value what works. Maybe not so much primitive, but more advanced ways of keeping. Unfortunately, no. At this moment, my sight is unclear.
So who are you looking for?
Perhaps to say a prisoner would be... I can tell you a name, but I can't give you any more than that. We are looking for a prisoner named Flux. Pray tell, have you come across anyone in your travels? A dangerous being, if there ever was one. One very much capable of shredding this world into ruin.
Bracken is not sure what races through his mind is this could prove complicated. Admitting that they know about Astroflux could delay their progress in Highkeep.
Conrad will sense the pause, I guess, and pipe up. What manner of being is Astroflux?
I am not at liberty to discuss that beyond a name.
Let me give you some insight into how things work in Highkeep. Specifics like names of various specific names of various creatures and evils or beings of any kind, really, is often not the first thing we reach for. He was going to explain a little bit how Highkeep works with stories. They don't necessarily reach for specific names if that's not the most fascinating thing about the tale, but we're much happier weaving our words in different ways. So if there's an event or a description, that might be something that we would have heard of in the gossip.
Give me a diplomacy roll, then.
Better you than I.
Very well. Very good diplomacy. 42.
Oh. Both our skill checks. Sorry, both the skill checks so far have been in the 40s, so that is impressive. Hast gives you a look. And then it almost seems to be a slight shrug, like a... Alright. Astroflux is not a mortal creature. It is a being of pure magic. In fact, it's not a being of pure magic. It is magic. Astroflux was too powerful, even for us. So in the past, the earlier iterations of the Synod imprisoned Astroflux. Should have been held. Its cell was infinite, shall we say. Somehow, though, it escaped. How a creature escapes infinity, I don't know. But it did. And now it's lost. 2 major components of the Synod gone.
2?
A dangerous prisoner and a tome of all-encapturing magic. And of course, where there is one, there is another. My suspicion is that Astroflux has somehow managed to get its hand on the Liberoctus and has somehow been using it. But with a creature of magic that is magic, and not to say that it is but a part of magic, it is entirely the magic of this world. With the infinite possibilities of what us casters can create, us mortals can comprehend. This is a creature who could doom this entire world with a click of its fingers, with a blink of an eye, with one vengeful look. So you'll permit me if we make our search hastily. If we do not, I fear the first thing we will see is all of us who can use arcane energies will start to struggle. He gives you a nod, Bracken. It is a temporal thing, such a creature. And unfortunately for the people here, this spot gives us a good vantage. Geographically, it is high and out of the way, but it is a good focal point of the world. We should have picked him up by now. Her. It. But we haven't. It may not even be in this world anymore. Or maybe it's now part of everyone. So pray tell if you have heard anything of an Astroflux. You would be helping Not just us, but everyone on this material existence.
It is curious, Hast. And it is so often the way that a diviner can look into the stars and take signs from birds flying overhead, yet cannot see what lies plainly in front of them. You have concerned yourself with the matters of astroflux and all spanning magical existential threats, and have forgotten to observe that you are standing in a realm that is not your own. And we know, yes, the Dominion like to barge in wherever they can. They like to colonize and build empires and towers and walls. But here, I'm afraid, you do not bear any jurisdiction, magical search or none. And so, as the sole representatives of Highkeep standing here before you now, it would be within your best interest to abandon this tower and conduct your search elsewhere. You wouldn't want to start a diplomatic incident, would you? So far from home.
I think that's a diplomacy roll as well. Let's see how much sway that has.
-1.
Yeah.
Oh, my diplomacy isn't very good. Kind of thought it was quite intimidating, personally, but you know.
Would you prefer an intimidate roll?
Yes. Yes, I would.
I will, yeah, go with either.
Listen, intimidate isn't amazing either, but it's better.
I mean, it was a bit of both, so I will
Yeah.
accept either.
Cool. So -1 is... Okay. 26.
Hast does seem put out. And he looks at the two of you. And he looks at you, Conrad. Is your osprey visible at the moment?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think there's any reason I would have hidden it.
Look. I can't say that I'm all too familiar with the power structure here in Highkeep. I know some of the Lord family names. I know of the Lavaliants. I know the Vissiers. The Rains. But I can't say I understand how your people fully work. He looks at you, Conrad. You should give your first voice a raise, whatever you're paying him. He speaks wise. And he is a powerful wizard nonetheless. Fine. We will be off. And should we need to return, we will make sure to write ahead. However, I would ask if you would permit us until nightfall. And as the sun goes down, then we will go.
First voice.
Bracken's eyes drift back up to the magical power and the rituals that are being cast. Can Bracken tell that he's asking for it to be nightfall to give them time to complete some spell or power or other? Or is this more he just wants to wait around until, you know what I mean? Like, is it clear that the magic is building to something that he wants to finish?
The magic in the immediate area, like the defences, isn't building.
Okay.
But you can sense, like, there is ongoing scrying magic that's being used.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if he's just trying to make the most of his spells while they've been cast, shall we say. So he's just wanting to make the most of what scrying and divining powers he has to hand at this point.
Bracken will look to Conrad and say, seeing as the good people of the Synod have come so far and have, I'm sure, Highkeep's best interests at heart in maintaining continuity, at least in terms of any disturbance from other worlds or other, it may be beneficial to extend your welcome to the Night Lord. But it is, of course, your word and none others that govern here. They wish to make use of the power that they have already displayed before us. It is for you to determine whether they should continue this.
Very well, if the magic is already cast. You may remain until the nightfall.
Thank you, my lord. And should you ever hear the name, well, you'll find the Dominion has a hold in most settlements. Search for the Dominion, and you can find the Synod. Bring your word to us, and you would be handsomely rewarded. And should you come across the Liberoctus, well, needless to say, that would see you for the rest of your life, the reward that we could bestow upon you.
Very well. We'll keep our eyes out for infinite book of spells and being of pure magic.
You'd be surprised what you find. And as an observer, you said you arrived yesterday. A parting word. I have seen there is a large amount of life force coming from the keep atop this peak. I think a good portion of people have taken refuge, but what lingers at the top is no longer of this realm. I suspect there is a gateway, a portal of sorts, where to, I haven't pried further, the Feywild, the Abyss, I don't want to know. But I have yet to find much life, even since I've been here, that has left within the streets below. You have my condolences. But I think there has been a lot of death.
Well, we thank you for your observations, if not your actions. Lead diviner of the Synod.
He gives you both another nod and returns to his orbs. There is, over the stairs, another fluctuation as the portal, well, the defences reopen for you to pass back through again.
Yeah, let's descend.
Indeed.
As they're heading down, Bracken will simply say very sharply, "Careful what you say." They have the ability to witness much from very far away.
Not to worry. There's nothing that I'd say about them that, well, I have nothing to say about them. And Conrad will take heed of Bracken's warning and continue in silence.
Yes. And yes, leaving the defences, you feel that despair settling back in, and a heavy atmosphere rests back upon your shoulders. And the thing is, it's more noticeable stepping back into it as opposed to approaching it slowly. It almost has a weight upon it. And you feel your body itself is having to fight against it somewhat. However, as you can probably make out, and what you were checking earlier as well, Bracken, the power does get stronger at the top of the peak. Is there anything going through Bracken's mind at the moment?
Quite a lot, but he's also doing his best to guard himself. It is true, if exactly true, what the diviner had said. For it was indeed the presence of the Liberoctis that that was crucial in Astroflux's re-emergence. And as I can recall as a player, it was the fact that to escape an infinite prison, an infinite source of magic was required. And Bracken, unwittingly, delivered it right to the fissure from which Astroflux escaped. Having believed he was going to confront the Synod then, he now finds himself confronting the Synod here instead.
Well, just for a small bit of clarity for those watching now, Bracken was visited by visions of what appeared at the time to possibly be the Synod luring him to the schism. But as you later found out, was Astroflux using your thoughts against you to lure you there.
Yes.
But yes, so as you speak, yeah, the Liberoctis was a pivotal thing. But
so that's really what's running through Bracken's mind. But he also feels. He feels vindicated in many ways because he stood before someone that he had a faint recognition of, and he didn't recognise him, and also appeared to have no grasp that the Liberoptis was in front of him either. Whether that's just because he wasn't particularly looking, or whether that's because whatever Bracken did to make them forget him also extends to the book, he's not sure. But he feels quite happy with that in a way, that he was able to stand in front of their very noses.
In front of the one who's best at divining things as well.
An absolute, because as soon as you diviner, I was like, oh. Scrying is definitely not to be underestimated in this game either. Scrying is insane, like if you want it to be. So,
indeed, but it seems their concerns are potentially further afield. What about you, Conrad?
I think Conrad was somewhat infuriated by the interaction.
Yes.
Previously believing that inaction in the face of suffering of people not in your area was the sole domain of Highkeep, he finds that the Synod even more perhaps unwilling to help, even when people directly in front of them
they literally found an ivory tower to go and sit upon. Whilst this hardship is being inflicted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's wretched, and it's
bullied their way in.
Exactly the sort of behaviour that the Dominion and the Synod are known for. So, shouldn't act surprised. There were literally people being thrown into portals yesterday. They would have seen that from where they are. They don't care.
That is true.
Come, Conrad. The day is still early, and we still have much to do. We should put their thoughts of them aside and focus on helping your people and saving your home. Come!
Let's away, Brambleman.
You away, and you proceed up the Partisan. Up the peak to the keep of... well, to the Highkeep of Highkeep. To the Highkeep. To the Highkeep keep. The highest keep of Highkeep.
The keepiest high.
The keepiest high. The aforementioned Highkeep. And it's, the path up, a familiar one for you, Conrad, very much. You would have walked it a handful of times. You would have spent time in Highkeep. As a lordling here, albeit, as you say, maybe not the first in line, but you're still of the Vissier family, you would have spent time in the keep itself. You are familiar with this way. You are familiar what to expect. You know there is a glorious entrance. You know within that there is a beautiful courtyard, a massive fountain. And you know through that, in the keep itself, where opening double doors leads you to a glorious statue of Dakari, the great lion of legend that once prowled the Lord's grasp, defending, and it gave its life to preserve the land many eras ago. And you know there it has been preserved, standing visual, in the main hall of Highkeep. And you know as well of the great feeding hall, with the stage that the table itself is looking upon, where many a bard has performed at banquets you have been a part of. Swords have been sung, words spoken, and stories so captivating. And you have also partaken in the duels, in the practice range they have there. You have taken many times with your family, with Alexander, with many. but never with such a heavy atmosphere. So much so, I need you both to do another will save.
Oh, I was just about to cast something as well. It's too late, I didn't say anything.
I'll be using Diamond Defense again, as it's been saving my ass so far.
Another
I mean,
will
I'm just giving... Yes, it is a will save. So if this is something you would have done quite rapidly, I will allow it.
I was going to say, because I was like, oh shit, like, because we did get a warning that it was going to be stronger. What Bracken was going to do, he has prepared it not because of this actually, but because we faced Balors yesterday. Bracken has prepared a spell to help us with our saves. So if you permit me, Bracken will have cast that on us and Conrad. Superior resistance will grant us +6 resistance to us. Now, of course, if we're wearing resistance clothing already, which Bracken does, this will only make up the difference of that bonus. So in some cases,
of course, yes.
I'm only getting a +2, like to Will, for instance, but to others, it's even better. So a +6 overall bonus, and that will last for 24 hours. So he casts it on Conrad and then himself with a touch.
Nice.
Great.
I will say that that's something you would have certainly been doing as you were leaving. The Synods, I like that. The Synods Ivory Tower.
That's a 37 on the will save.
And Conrad?
39.
And he rolled a 3!
39.
Well, because I can use Diamond Defense
Yes,
once every...
use Diamond Defense on it. Whoa.
Basically, I think every 30 seconds, essentially.
That's pretty much.
Oh my god.
That's epic.
That's epic.
Yeah, I mean, already Bracken may have taken a bit of a hit when he left. Maybe, as you say, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Definitely.
And he left the place. And for me, it would be like when I left the hotel in Sydney and I was walking into 40-degree heat. I was absolutely fine. The minute I stepped outside, heat stroke. So maybe Bracken stepped outside, bleak.
Bleak stroke.
Bleak stroke. And, yeah, but you are both absolutely fine. The weight of this presence does not slow you down. It does not deter you. And you push. And as you head up, you reach a final turn. And you come across the stairs that leads to the great entrance of Highkeep. A daunting wall, as always, that stands between you and the keep itself. But up the stairs, and this is where
Just drag player banner onto the thing.
it's firework this time. You see at the top 4 people at the gate. Far up the stairs, 4 knights standing. You will find yourselves right at the bottom.
Yes.
When you say 4 knights standing, are they recognizable as Highkeep guards or infantry or lords even?
These are part of the guards for the keep itself. They wear the crest of the Levaliants, although they are not lords of Levaliants, but they serve the Levaliant house.
I see. Shall we get closer?
Yes. Bracken is going to uphold his courtly duties, as he is vowed to do. And he will say, "Hail!" His voice hopefully carrying up the staircase. "I come to announce the presence of the Lord Conrad de Vissier. For he has returned to Highkeep and seeks audience with those that hold court here. Who are you to bar his way?"
There is no response, save for the sound of not necessarily rain, but blood falling from the sky.
Okay.
That's grim.
You remember the last time you encountered blood rain? And it was in the abyss.
Looking at them, do they look to be conscious?
Are they human? Are they visibly human?
Let's say then you are moving up the stairs. If you want to get yourself to about here, if you can see where I'm giving the circle, because that will give a bit of close enough to make out.
Yes, I would have.
Some bits.
I would have definitely wanted to go up the stairs, as I said those words. Definitely,
Of course.
There we are.
Give me a spot check then, or search.
Yeah.
Spot it
Oh, it's
is.
got to be spot, isn't it? We're not searching. We're looking. We're... Yeah.
21 et 1.
Oh, what's what?
Ah,
Yeah.
32. I mean, Bracken probably more so than... I mean, Conrad, you can definitely see something isn't right. Even the way they're standing seems wrong. They're not flat to the floor. It's as if they're kind of standing on the tips of their toes. Bracken, it's almost as if they're being held up like a marionette, a string holding them up from their back. Their heads only held up by the heavy metal armour that sits under their helmet. But you can see on closer inspection that the heads are lolling to a side and not completely collapsing, only because of the armour that keeps it sitting up. And although you can make out the faintest signs of life, you can just about see it looks like they are breathing. It also looks like they are in absolutely zero control of their faculties.
We've seen this before.
Yes. Rezix. Is it Rezik? Remember Rezik?
Where is it? Oh yeah.
The note we had to write for ourselves every session to
Yep,
try and
that's
remember the name.
Deep cuts. Remember him?
His wife, I want to say, it was
Flora.
Flora.
Yes.
Flora was not quite comatose, but
As if acknowledging this further, the air swirls in a spiralling vortex ahead of you, as it then seems to solidify into a being. Bells ring from a cuff. A pattern of black and grey harlequin adorns the typical clothes of a jester. A sceptre held in similar embellishments, and face grey as death, but with a wide smile bearing sharpened bright yellow teeth. It throws its arms across its body and takes a deep, flourishing bow. Its other hand, still bowing, produces a wilted-looking yellow flower. It stands and offers the flower to the two of you. But no sooner does it do this, that the flower crumbles away like ash in the wind. It looks generally stunned. And then, after a beat, starts to laugh, folding in on itself. But it makes no sound, just a wheezing and a cackle from its throat. You spy no tongue beneath its grin. In fact, it appears to be missing a few bodily parts. A finger not quite there, one arm shorter than the other, an overpronounced knee. It stops laughing. The grin changes from a wild smile to a curved sneer. It lifts its sceptre to the two of you, the tip of which modelled into a crude likeness of itself. And then it lunges. And I think that's a good point to take a quick break. With that, for those of you watching now or after the fact, thank you all very much. As always, Rob's men are here to make sure I tell you to please give us a like and some subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, please also give Performance Check a like and subscribe, where we host Roll the Bones. And also remember, if you are watching Twitch through Amazon Prime, you can subscribe through Prime. So please do if you can. Otherwise, we thank you very much, and we're back very shortly. And we are back. And we left for our break on the precipice of battle. And it is there that we return. The creature, adorned in black and grey harlequin, gave a wave with its sceptre, and the four knights seem to now be lurched back. You can see they are alive, but not present, shall we say. As if their body is there, but their mind is not. And with that same flourish came another swirling in the air as four more of these jesters appear before you. But that is the entirety of the creature's go. Bracken, we come to you. If you wish to do any knowledge checks against this creature, it would be knowledge nature or knowledge the planes.
Definitely a knowledge planes if I can have it, yes. Bracken will behold this thing, and as battle has started, as I mentioned, haste is automatically cast from Bracken's contingency spell as he sizes this creature up with a knowledge the planes roll. 19 on the die, that's 38.
Almost maximum.
Almost.
Well, you had knowledge of this creature before.
Yes.
Well, not fully. This is indeed the almost spitting description of the being that served with Tsar, one of the masters, the fat cat of liberty. As was described by Horatio.
Yeah,
the jiggling one.
Yeah.
This grey-skinned, black and grey adorned harlequin jester is known as a grey jester. For lack of original, that is its name.
That's cool.
And I'm not even kidding you. It is a grey jester. And you know, grey jesters are malicious fae. They drain all the joy they can out of those around them and turn them into bleak ones. Subservient shells, but you have never encountered in your writings, in your studies maybe, because you would probably haven't encountered one of these before, but you have never read or thought possible one so powerful. It could claim not only an entire settlement, but settlements in 2 lands. Both in Liberty and here, it has bleak ones. But it is... well, that is all I can give you for now.
And it's split apart, so did it look like it split apart into different creatures, or they just appeared?
They all seem to appear separately.
Okay. So Bracken's automatic casting his contingency spell erupts into life, granting us haste. Bracken is also going to quicken a spell. He's going to quicken invisibility. No, he's going to quicken greater invisibility.
Okay.
Which is level 4, which you can do. And at the same time, he's also going to cast project image and leave behind the effectively the other self that he can cast and see through where he stands, and will use his movement to step down this staircase to give his real self cover from anything coming our way. So, do those staircase mean that he is like beneath their line of sight, if that makes sense?
Yes, you get cover.
Okay, great. And then, yeah, his projected image appears next to Conrad. That is his turn.
You should have control.
Do you feel in control? I have control, yes.
Cool. With a nice blue tint to make it a bit
I like
obvious.
that. Yeah, that's cool.
Excellent stuff. With that, the guards shuffle forward. And it is a disturbing sight to see. Have you ever tried to move a marionette puppet? Their feet never quite touch the ground. And it is, although they seem to just be dragging. And as they're dragging and pulling themselves across the stone, they are pulling out weapons, readying their shields, and they look like they are fully ready and armed. But it looks as if they are not controlling their own selves. But they get to there, and that is their movement. And then all of them start raising up their shields, as it looks as if a spell is being cast upon their shields as they form a defensive line. And that is their turn. Conrad.
Bracken's not invisible, is he? I can see him.
No, he's got greater invisibility.
Yep, I am invisible.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it would work then, but if I used White Raven's tactics to allow my ally within 10 feet, would that be considered also to include his projection? As he can.
But Bracken hadn't taken into his projection at this point, so I'm going to say no, because the actual Bracken is 15 feet away.
Cool. That's fine. I don't know where he's gone, so I can't just take a step back knowingly. It's fine. I will. Is this a fountain in the middle, or like a little?
It is.
I'm gonna move up to there. Oh, that's weird. The lines of the stones aren't where the 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 lines of the squares are.
Yes, it's. I didn't realise that until I've just looked and gone, oh,
Well,
yeah.
I guess they are sort of, but not what you'd expect. I will drop into the Thicket Blade stance. And... yeah, that's what I'll do at this point.
Fair enough. With that, we get to the top of the round. I need to check. Oh, where is it? There we go. Okay. Okay. The first grey jester that appeared, the one that pulled the flower out that disintegrated into nothing, it charges at you. Not as a literal charge, but it just advances upon you. It moves so blindingly quickly, you blink, and it is right next to you. As it seems to sprint across the ground so unnaturally fast, it just appears there. What is your touch?
I don't get an attack of opportunity.
You do get an attack of opportunity because your stance, the way you describe it as well, it means it's moved into, pardon me, your threat regardless.
Great. Is the jester on... Can I check if the jester's standing on the floor or is it floating?
It is standing.
I'm gonna try and trip it then.
Okay.
43 to hit it.
43 is a hit.
And the trip is 18, which isn't very good.
Opposed grapple, yeah? Sorry, opposed strength or trip?
So opposed trip. Yeah, dex or strength, yeah.
That is a good roll, I'm afraid, and maybe it was just a bit too quick for you as it scuttles over your chain. And this one is going to touch you. What is your touch armor?
It's not going to struggle. 15.
Its scepter lands upon your head, and you feel an urge moving into your legs, as suddenly your legs just start dancing irresistibly, as you are stricken with irresistible dance. And I am sorry, there is no save to irresistible dance, it just...
Oh, it's irresistible.
It's irresistible. Formerly Otto's irresistible dance, but just irresistible dance. You are... Oh. The lowest I can do. You are dancing on the spot for 2 rounds.
Conrad does a grotesque jig.
Grotesque jig. Know this, whilst you are grotesquely jigging on the spot. You take a -4 to your armor class, -10 to your reflex, and you cannot use a shield.
-4 to armor class. I don't have a shield, so that's fine. And -10 to reflex.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a great reflex save I've got right now.
That is all you are doing at the moment, which means your stance has dropped.
Okay.
For the 2 rounds. That is what that one does. Of the ones that are there, the 2 by the door, so this one up here and this one up here, both just curl over and just start to laugh and point at you. That is all they seem to do. This one seems to skip its way down to about here. This one... 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. It can. This one also runs blindingly quick. And it can reach you there. with some unnatural speed. It darts down the stairs and is going to attempt to hit your projection over the head.
Okay, does he want to make a will save before he does that?
Sure. What's the DC?
Sorry, I'm just bringing the spell back up. I believe it's my level 7. Yes. Yes, it is. So level 7 DC is 26.
He fails.
So he is convinced that that is me. So it doesn't stop him from doing whatever else he wants to do, but...
Okay. He would hit you, and you would be thinking that you've been hit for a fair bit of damage. However, there is also a spell-like effect that comes with this hit. Would you be bluffing that?
Well, that's the save. He's failed, so he's convinced it's me. So even if he's hitting it, he's sure that he's hit me.
Tell you what, because he thinks he's hit you, let's see if you can get your illusion to reciprocate. Give me a spellcraft check to see if you can see what it is in time.
Well, he can't. He's failed the save. He can't tell what it is.
No, for you.
Okay, I'll just go along with what you're suggesting, because I'm not quite sure I understand. But okay, spellcraft it is. Here it is. 50.
Blimey heck. That's ridiculously high. You notice that he's trying to hit you with Tasha's hideous laughter.
Interesting.
So what he may think it, but whether you want your illusion to start laughing is up to you. But you could.
I see what you mean. Yes, Bracken's Bracken's illusion will begin cackling wildly. Fueled fueled by the trickster nature that he has, he is easily able to summon a laugh at this.
Very nice. That is all the Grey Jesters will do. It is your turn, Bracken.
Okay. Now I need to work something out here. Because Bracken sees an opportunity here. No, that's not going to work. Damn, I was just thinking something and that's not going to work. That's a shame. Now, I don't know whether this... Because it's confusing, because my guy here... Would him casting a spell through my guy provoke an attack of opportunity from the jester there? Because he's not really there, but the jester doesn't know that, so it would attempt it. So I'll say, to be fair, even though I'm unsure, I'm pretty sure you could argue that him attempting to cast a spell, the creature would go as if to do an attack of opportunity normally, which would count as interacting with it, so he will get another save, I think. I don't know if it says it in the rules to him exactly, but it doesn't. But he is going to cast a spell right next to him, so I don't know how that can be ruled personally.
There is feats and skill tricks that enable you to make your spells look like they're coming from different places and doing still and what have you.
Well, it would be coming from a different place. That's the idea. It's not to try and trick that. It's already worked that the spell is coming from my illusion. The problem is that thing's gonna then go, he's casting a spell, and try and strike it, which is technically interacting with it. So, if he takes it,
yeah,
do you see what I mean? So I think he would technically get an attack of opportunity, which doesn't mean he attacks it. It just means he gets a disbelief. So. That's another will save of 26 from him, first of all, as this one attempts to cast a spell.
That is a fail. So we'll basically say that because he fails the disbelief check, he doesn't see it.
Okay, that means a quickened lightning bolt explodes out from the projection. I was trying to get him there, but then that would mean it would go through Conrad as well, so I can get these two and not concern Conrad, I believe. Yep. Like that.
Conrad grotesque jigs his way out of the range.
Yeah, it doesn't pass his square, so that's a lightning bolt, a quickened lightning bolt, so a reflex of 22, please.
Oh, they both succeed.
That's fair enough. It's only a
with an
level.
unnatural looking speed, and it's almost as if their bodies themselves seem to morph out of the way slightly.
Now, do they evade entirely?
No, they take half damage.
Okay, so half, so a maximum firebolt, which I'm casting at, is 10d6, so half is 5d6, so I'll just roll 5d6.
Wait, maximum? Oh, I see what you mean.
I always cast it a maximum because it's so-and-so per level, but I exceeded it, so it's always 10d6. But because
I thought you meant maximised.
No.
Yes.
They take 16 points of electricity damage in that case. That was my quickened attempt. Now
you notice
go on.
A lot of that electricity damage seems to get absorbed into some form of resistance.
Yes, because I guess they count as... Maybe he's got the... Because we know that the demons have resistance to electricity. Maybe because of what he's doing, he's half demon, half fae. Who knows? Okay, cool. Nice to know. So that was the lightning bolt as my quickened action. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to... just find out the level of this spell. Because I have it prepared, but I have it written here and it doesn't say the level. Oh, okay, that's a level 6. Bracken closes his eyes, both the real invisible version of him and the projected image, and as he opens them, there is a blazing prismatic film that covers his eyes as he sees through all spectrums as he casts True Seeing. Because he wants to determine what these things are that are fighting them. He wants to know if they're like summoned, because he would learn if they're summoned or if they're like what he can do and create copies of himself, or if these are in fact individual creatures. He sees things as they are, so that's the ruling.
Yes.
Yes. And it's okay if it doesn't show anything, because that's just them, but it's like, yeah.
Give me a knowledge arcana.
Okay. 38.
38. These are not illusionary copies. You may have studied this spell, but I don't think you've ever cast this spell.
I think I know.
They are a type of simulacrum.
Simulacrum, yeah.
Are you aware of simulacrum?
I can cast it myself, yes. Yes, I am aware.
So you know it essentially creates copies of you.
Yes.
As in, you actually make essentially a clone.
Yes. Yes. That, I believe, takes a while.
Though not as powerful as the original.
So they
just 1/5 your size.
So He must have created them before, right? Unless he can just summon them out of nothing. So they've been
it's
around.
not a quick thing.
No, not at all. 12 hours, as Bracken can cast it anyway. So these must have. It's like what Bracken wants to know, because if we get rid of them, they're not just going to be replaced. So hopefully that is the case. But that's his turn. He casts True Seeing. He's learned their true nature. That's his. His turn.
They are simulacrums. They are clones of their master. You also see that the control of the knights does stem to their master, but it is not here. The true Grey Jester lies beyond. But it is now the guards' turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have done them. I'm sorry, I've done you all a misjustice. 1, 2. They only move 4 squares. They are in much heavier armour. So we'll just say they, in the first round, I will move them back to there and move them 10 feet. That means they've only moved the amount of feet allocated for them. There you go. They would have moved 20 feet, 20 feet. They wouldn't have got there in 2 turns. That makes sense. So they move there. And then this one will lose double movement, so 1. Yeah, you're right. I got the squares completely wrong when I made this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they've just seemed to run, or like the Thunderbirds, get sort of dragged and just Team America'd around the fountain to where they are. Heads just kind of lolloping to the side slightly. Conrad.
That bit of armour that's holding up their head, is that called a gorget?
It is a gorget.
I thought as much. I can still attack, I'm presuming.
Now,
defensive disadvantage.
I thought so. That basically, your legs are dancing. You've got the minuses.
I'm so sorry. I completely forgot you were under that effect.
That's alright. It's only 2 turns, so it's not worth...
It is. And I looked up later, and it says all the target can do is but dance. And when I read that the first time, I read that as... like, all they can manage is the urge to dance. But I still thought that they could, even though they're dancing, they could still get like an attack in there.
Yeah,
so as far as I'm aware... No?
Oh, really?
Sorry. I was under the impression that wasn't the case, but I could be wrong. I have not read the spell in a while, so if that's what you think it is, then cool.
The thing is, I was torn about this over the break, and I will happily defer to the consensus of the room.
I have no consensus. I don't know. I've not read the spell recently, so I don't know.
I've just googled it. I hope that's okay. It says
That's fine.
The spell effect makes it impossible for the subject to do anything other than keep runes in place. So I would say that's
Cool.
That's nothing. Yeah.
So in that case, this round,
I don't do nothing. I dance. Ballroom dance then. Into
excellent. So you've gone from a grotesque jig into some sort of like waltz or
yes, exactly. Some sort of
Olé. What does Bracken see? How eloquent is Conrad as a dancer? I'm just curious.
Bracken is absolutely kicking himself, because in my brain I was like, right, fix Conrad and then move on, and I totally blanked that and then thought, well, what shall I do this turn, and decided to do True Seeing. I have meant to try and fix that, so Bracken's gaze snaps back thinking, oh, it can't have been that bad, and he looks and Conrad is like pirouetting, using his chain as a skipping rope. Like
He's pole dancing with his
he's dancing with the maypole, and the chain is like the feathered handkerchiefs and stuff. It's a nightmare, and it's fitting with the jesters capering and tumbles. It's like Conrad is joining in the party, and he curses himself for being so foolish and short-sighted.
Unfortunately, yes.
True seeing, but didn't see the problem in front of him, just as he chided the diviner with.
I am so sorry. I forgot one thing as well for you. They're not only simulacrums. They're not only Grey Jesters. You see that they are but a Grey Jester and a writhing mass of tentacles and chaos.
Oh.
There is something unnatural, almost pseudo-natural, about what has happened to this creature. I'll leave it at that for the moment. It is the Jester's turn, and the one next to you, following on from this, its unscepter arm breaks, not into nothingness, but 4 tentacles explode from its left side, and each one whips and hits you. Your armor class amended is?
Amended, it is 24.
Never quite as bad, but it's still bad.
The first one is a miss. Good. Second is a hit. Third is a hit. Fourth is a hit. 3 of the tentacles just whip and smack you left and right as you take, from 3 hits, 42 points of damage as it just, with these huge, horrible-looking things. Its arm no longer exists. It's just shattered away, revealing the chaos underneath. The 2 at the back come forward, and they're ready to jump in later, but they're just in having the time of their life, skipping and prancing at the top of the stairs. This one kind of hops, sort of runs up the side of the wall, does a sort of jump off, feigning a tumble, as it then comes next to you, Conrad, and attempts to bonk you on the head with its with its scepter.
Boop.
24, you said?
Indeed.
That is a whack, I'm afraid, as you take 19 points of damage. Can you also make a will save?
Yes, and I'm going to use... I can't, can I?
Don't forget you have greater resistance cast on you.
Yeah, so I'll add that. 31.
31. You resist the urge to laugh as it tries to over sensory, just, get you laughing and dancing at the same time, but you resist it. It should be there. There we go. And this one here will take the will save to try and spot the illusion, Bracken. Was that also 24, or was it 27?
Interacting with it at all?
It looks like he's going into thwack it again.
Okay, yeah, cool. No, it's not 24. It is 26.
26, thank you.
26 will save.
That is a success.
I'm so sorry. I just realised that's an illusion spell. It should be 27. I have a spell focus.
That is a failure.
All this time, I have not been adding that +1 because of my spell focus. Oh my god. So it seems for a second like he thinks he's spotted it.
This one as well I should make a note which ones have had. There's one. This one's left arm just breaks apart as these tentacles just come out, and it thinks that all 4 of its hits have just lashed and slapped you about, Bracken. And how does your illusion react?
So it thinks it slapped him about. Yeah. So Bracken's illusion sort of like puts his hands up wildly, still like chuckling, because he's still pretending to be under the effect of the other spell, like as if he's trying to like bat away like flies and bees trying to sting him. That's how he looks. The illusion looks, but the real Bracken is watching from below.
Yes, and it is the real Bracken's turn.
Wow, the real Bracken. Is it only one more round that you've got, Conrad?
Yeah.
Every single target in the vicinity, 100 foot plus 10 foot per level, need to make a will save, please.
From you?
From my illusionary boy. Oh no, it'll be from me actually, because that won't provoke the attack of opportunity. So, yeah.
That's
easy.
everyone.
It's easy. It's easy peasy. So yeah, will save as Bracken will use a scroll from invisibility. He will cast Illusionary Pit. As the floor about them begins to twist and crumble and swirl into a bottomless chasm. On a successful save.
For all of them?
Or every single one of them, baby. Every single one of them.
Wait, the pit is that big, or is that your range?
Good question. 10 foot cube per level is the range. Is the effect, sorry. The range is 100. Yes, you're absolutely right. The range is 100 feet plus 10 foot per level. The area is 10 foot cube per level. So that, I think, still might fit.
200 foot.
Yeah, because from you, say it happened there, you could shape that. Yeah,
I did think it was big, and that's why I just automatically went for that one. But yeah, good thing to check. It still gets all of them. So it is a will save partial. Remember, on a successful save, they will still be stunned for a round. A failure means that they will appear to tumble into the chasm. And be driven crazy.
So, I got distracted by the range then, so the DC was...
the DC, that's 20... It's an illusion, so that is 26.
We'll start with the guards. Only one of them succeeds. So I'll give him a green dot because he succeeded.
Yeah, he is just stunned for a round. Okay.
Even though they're being dragged, they still seem to have some semblance of a reaction to this. Mm-hmm. As if instinct and primal urges kicks in. The jesters. 2 at the back. Oh. The one in front of your illusion. Oh. And the 2 next to Conrad.
Stop oohing.
It's hard to tell what kind of ooh it is.
Mm.
Apart from that guard, every single one didn't roll higher than a 4.
Wow.
That is ooh worthy.
That guard rolled a 19. Everyone else didn't get higher than a 4. Every single one fails. So I'm not going to even dot them because the majority did not pass that.
Incredible.
What is it like then, as you essentially turn all of them tumbling down?
Bring the
it-
battlefield to a standstill.
So, Bracken's illusionary self is the thing that they see. Of course, they don't see the real Bracken casting this from a scroll. So they're focused on the illusionary Bracken, and the illusionary Bracken is still laughing and batting at things as if he's being attacked by bees. And then, like, it's almost like Bracken's mouth opens wider and wider and wider as he laughs, until like a maelstrom like begins to open up from his own being around them, and they look at the fountain, and the fountain appears to be like Bracken's mouth, and water is spilling out of the fountain. Suddenly they're surrounded by like a typhoon, being dragged into the gullet of the wizard, like drinking them all up like some insane monster. It looks mental. So all of them, apart the one guard, are flung to the floor and are unable to take any action except clawing desperately on the floor, of hoping to stop their apparent fall. An attack on an affected creature frees it from the effects of the illusion, but then still leaves it stunned for a further round. So, with that said,
Bravo.
That is Bracken's turn.
Excellent control there. I was really hoping at least like one of them would have passed, but it was like, there's a 3, there's a 2, there's a critical failure. And kudos to that one guard. You should, if you ever get out of this, Conrad, you should promote him.
Well,
Oh, well, if I've got the authority to.
Bracken's looking to
yes.
Conrad's lead as well for when Conrad does drop out of it. Like, he doesn't... They've not obviously had the chat of whether we're trying to keep these guys alive, so he's just waiting to see how Conrad interacts in the space to learn this. But yeah, that was his turn.
Thank you very much. Yeah, excellent stuff. Now, it's the guard's turn. The one who saved is just kind of recoiling. They almost actually get their footing. Like, this particular guard sort of stands normally for a second, just is slumped. And that's all they do for a round. Do they get a save next turn, or do they get a save now?
It's a whole round that they're clawing until they get...
So at least one round.
Yeah, exactly.
So any time after your turn next turn. Cool.
That's right.
So the jesters won't get a save until... Yeah, lovely. Excellent stuff. Conrad, you are still dancing, but you start to feel your legs. What is the final dance you do before it subsides?
The final dance is, you know, in The Hobbit, where they're all Merry and Pippin do like this odd sort of like knees up dance. Do you know the one I mean?
They're kicking, aren't they?
With the one on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
I love it.
And just as you're about to sing to the green dragon, you come to your senses. Your feet are yours again, but that is your turn. The jester's turn now, and this round they have no control. They are still locked in the effect until your turn at least happens once more, of which, Bracken, it is now your turn.
Oh my goodness, straight back to me. Okay, so yeah, that's Conrad broken out of the dance now, moving forward, so that's good, and he didn't take any extra grief for it, so that's nice. I was just looking up a spell, and I didn't get a chance, but you know what, as we're doing it, Bracken throws out a hand and another scroll, and this is his real hand, by the way, because he's using scrolls. This is him doing this, not his summon. There's like a small like tear, and it just unleashes a scroll that like flips into his hand from his sleeve. Action ready as another scroll is prepared. It unravels and then bursts into many colours as Bracken casts Prismatic Eye. A eye of many colours erupts into existence, and it's going to erupt into existence sort of I'm going to say here.
Wait, hang on.
So it's going to be out of the way.
There.
Yeah, up here. This ledge here, is this like a wall or is it like a...
It's a higher up point.
Yeah, so it's going to be basically like...
Oh, I remember the one I used to give you. There you are.
Yeah, the grim, visceral eye. Yes.
Thanks, web assets. You should have control.
I feel in control as the prismatic eye comes into being, and then immediately just opens fire. As it effectively becomes a spell turret that acts on my initiative going forward. That's a good point. Does it act on my initiative when I cast it? I think it does. Let me look at the spell again. Apologies.
I'm pretty certain we've done it as that in the past, and I'm happy to roll with that.
Okay, great. So that in that case, then there is there's a free action once per round, so this would count. So it will start just blasting, blasting away at a target of my choosing. So this one is gonna shoot at the jester that's in front of my projection, I think.
Okay.
And it shoots it as prismatic spray. So, it's a ranged touch attack with its own attack bonus. Okay, it's not a great attack bonus, but it does go against its touch. 23 on its touch.
It's technically prone.
Oh, so it is. Yeah.
So that actually hits. As you shoot it in the back with a prismatic spray. It's just like... Again, it can't... It screams. It can't vocalize words, but its screams are just guttural. And without a tongue, they're just... They're horrid.
Please roll a d8 for me, please. If you don't mind.
Yes. I also threw my d20 in excitement to the other side of the room. So I'll have to collect those. I have a spare. Oh, that's an 8.
Roll twice.
Is that 2?
Yep, roll twice. And
Reroll
ignore
an 8.
further results of 8, yes.
Balloons?
Balloons.
Balloons!
No balloons. No balloons. People coming into the stream just now will be very confused. Why did you keep saying balloons?
But why were there balloons? Okay, I got a 4 and a 1.
No. Okay, first of all, a reflex saving throw.
Bring me fortune. That's not fortune, that's slap bang in the middle. DC.
I believe the illusionary eye has its own DC. Prismatic eye. It has its own DC. 19. Reflex 19.
Oh, I was looking at its other one. It's it passes the reflex save.
Okay, it takes 10 points of fire damage unless it has evasion.
It does not have evasion.
So it takes 10 points of fire damage. And it also needs to make a fortitude saving throw. Same.
That, however, fails.
Is he affected by poison?
Yes.
He dies.
What?
Poison kills fortitude saving throw. If not 1d6 constitution damage, he dies. So the prismatic eye goes. Pew! There's like this fiery bolt that catches him in the shoulder as he tries to like dodge out the way. Takes half, but that just opens him up for like the green beam that just cascades down upon him, and the jester begins croaking and spitting and gurgling in his tongueless mouth as the thing succumbs to the poison of the prismatic eye.
Yeah, this simulacrum doesn't have any resistance to poison. But what's interesting is when you kill it, it dissolves into ash and scatters on the breeze.
Ah, speaking of scattering on the breeze.
Yes. You may remember the actual spell is done with snow.
Oh, yes.
But in this instance, it's ash.
Yeah, I love it. That's so cool.
I need my good D20 back.
Yeah,
there it is.
That's all good. While we're waiting for...
I will say, still, but thank you to M, one of my students, for these dice. They are lovely.
Oh, M. What a legend.
And we shall wait for Dom's return. Oh. And seeing as it turned to ash, we'll do that. That's that one.
And we have a Dom. Do you want to see if you can hear me, Dom?
I can hear you.
You can hear
Brilliant.
me. Cool.
What did you catch? Or what did you just...
Bracken poisoned the thing, and then you're like, it dies. But the interesting thing is, and then Firefox didn't want to work anymore.
The interesting thing is it turns to ash. And it scatters onto the breeze. As this clone is not made of normal flesh. However, a beautiful move as Bracken, you... well, remove one. Anything more? Or is that it for the two of you?
That's it.
Three of you.
The power of the illusionary pit still affects all the others until they make their save, but that's on their turn, so...
That it does. Mm-hmm. And it is the guard's turn then. I will do the 3 ones to see if they pass before doing the guy who has 26, yeah?
It is 26, that's correct.
Oh, gotta roll high. Nope. They're still on the floor. It doesn't look like... Unfortunately for these guards, they've kind of believed it's there, but they're not like scraping at the floor. They're just lying down. They've kind of accepted the fact. They're just lying and assuming they're falling. This one, however, where it was standing normally, it now seems to get hoiked up onto the balls of its feet, as it almost seems to be dragged forward.
Oh, did it pass?
Steps. This one passed last turn, remember?
Oh, last turn.
And it's had a round of stunned.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yep.
So, 1. Nope. 2. As it just literally goes for the nearest target. 3. As it just comes forward, sword. It attempts to cut across you, Conrad. Armor class is now...
Still 24, because I'm still dancing, I think.
Technically, yes.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, you would have stopped dancing on the jester's turn. And that was at the top of the round.
Then.
So you're not dancing. 28. I mean, it's a good roll, but it just bounces off your armor. I mean, do you defend it or do you just let it bounce?
I think he just raises an arm and sort of bats it aside.
Fair enough. It's now your turn.
I'm going to try and deck one of the jesters on the ground. This one, I think. And do I can't coup de grace it, they're not completely helpless.
No, I think, if I remember correctly, they can still defend themselves. They're just at penalties because they're prone.
they're just penalty because they're prone. Yeah, they're not helpless.
I'm just gonna hit him real hard. I'm gonna do a mountain tombstone strike. Does 48 hit?
Believe it or not, yes, it does. One day, I'll surprise you.
Yeah, one day. Is it a evil outsider?
Technically, yes.
Technically or actually?
Under normal circumstances, this would be a Fae. But there is more to this Fae than Fae. There is something outsidery and abyssal about it. So yes, there is.
In which case, the holy chain comes into action and smacks him on the head for 29 points of damage.
Wait, the one with the red dot or the one not?
The one not, because I think that's probably going to make me dance if I don't kill it.
Now, as far as I'm aware, this one has taken a bit of damage anyway.
So it also takes 9 points of constitution damage.
Oh my god!
That is
Oh my god!
His health just went down by.
Let me figure this one out. Okay, so that's gone to that, which means is now this, which means it loses. Blummeneck. Okay. I mean, it desperately tries to defend itself while scrabbling on the floor. What's it like as you deal... I mean, it's still alive, but you deal catastrophic damage. Like, what did you do?
So I think because he'd only just stopped dancing, but he used that dance to create momentum for the chain to whip up, and the chain just like goes in a great big circle, stops in midair, and then it lights up gold, and then just slams down right across his chest, and just dents, just crushes the ribcage.
And
or whatever it is made of tentacles.
Yeah, if this creature were anything not what it is, you would probably have killed it outright, but there is something unnatural keeping it going. Not by much, but were it anything else, it would be completely and utterly dead at this point. Brutal, excellent, epic. It is now their turn.
So the one that's been struck has now been knocked out of the effect. It is now stunned for 1 round.
Thank you for that. I will give him a green dot. I won't do that. I was about to kill him outright.
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead.
The other 3, the one next to Conrad. Oh! 26.
26 to be free of it?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't exceed it.
No, is that the DC? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, yes, the 26 is yes.
Then this one does.
Okay.
So he's also stunned.
He is stunned, yes.
And the 2 at the back, that's a nat 20 on the left.
He is stunned.
And that's a nat 1 on the right.
Still clawing for life.
So 3 of them are now stunned. But as far as I'm aware, this one will come out of the stun next round because the combat hit him into stun. These will still be stunned next round because they saved this round.
Yes, I think so, yeah. It's
cool.
a round of being stunned once you come out of it, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so this one will be out before these. Lovely
Aye.
stuff.
Aye.
Bracken, it is now your turn.
Bracken's invisible true form will rush up the stairs with his hasted speed and run around the corner to reach there. And still invisible, he's going to hold forth the scroll. He's realised he's made all these scrolls, and he still has some scrolls left over from the last campaign that he hasn't used. So I'm like, I need to start using some scrolls. And he throws open one, and from, though you don't see it 'cause it's invisible, sort of black ink almost appears to like fill up in his eyes for a moment as he says, "Die." As he points the finger of death upon the constitutionally compromised, say that when you're drunk, jester there.
Yep.
And that is a fortitude saving throw of 26.
There's a minus because of massive con damage.
Oh, I'm bloody doing it!
As with a lot of these save or die effects, I'm going to make this one public, and I tell you now, he basically has to critical.
Okay.
What is it like as he is utterly removed?
Die. His voice echoes in like a deep growl, and the simulacrum sort of like looks at itself and realizes what it is. It sees itself. And then Bracken, a kindly figure before him, just says, "It's okay. You can go." And turns
And it
down.
dusts away.
That's
a nice turn. No, I like that. Was a nice little.
The prismatic eye opens fire. Pew, pew. This one over, it's going to shoot at the ones at the back because they're not. Which one is stunned already?
This one's on the floor. The one with the green dot is stunned.
Yeah, gonna leave the one on the floor, go for the one that's already stunned, because he's gonna come out of it next turn anyway, so, like, the effect's already happened, so he will open fire with the prismatic eye at his touch armor class. 14, shit.
That is a miss, I'm afraid.
No, I
with...
know, it's a shit roll, mate. It's all good. It misses.
Yeah. Even with the minuses, it's still...
Something
quite
mental happens behind him, but we don't know what that is. We don't see it.
Something just... We shall see. One day. Oh, I can remove that. Is that it for you and
That's
the eye?
Bracken's turn, and the prismatic eye less victorious, but still, we're making progress. That's his turn.
Excellent. We cut to the three guards who are falling. No. Or sorry, should I say silently lying down as if accepting of their fate.
Oh, yes.
Face down, just...
Oh, no.
Nothing there. Yes, so the three guards fail. They're just still committed to falling.
Cool.
The guard that's standing casts meta hit and knocks you out of signal, Rob. He hits you and he hits your connection.
No, I don't get a save, that's the whole
Your router had a save and your router failed.
Yeah, of course it failed. Thank you, Redium. Thank you, I appreciate the welcome back.
At this point, he goes in for a full attack on you.
Bring it on. Oh, come on.
First attack misses. Second attack misses. How do you deflect both?
As he raises the sword to hit Conrad does, like, a rugby palm off where they just like shove them in the face.
No.
Stop it.
Just, yeah.
And it just like back because he's by a mannequin thread sort of thing. He just like marionettes it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wobbles away.
Yeah, good deflection there. Awful rolls on his part. Conrad.
Conrad is just going to do a full round of attacks on the Jester on the ground, because I feel like if I hit every attack, that's probably more damage than one big strike when
Yeah.
I have my, like, main damaging strikes. So I'm just going to do 5 attacks because of haste.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. I think it's only 5. Yes, it is. Only 5.
Okay.
So,
I have... Yes.
44.
Yes.
28.
No.
No. Oh,
Blimey.
25. Even on the floor. 23. That's only 2 hits. That's very disappointing.
Its base armor, this is the first time you've really got to explore it, is very resistant. Its flesh, malleable, and it seems to absorb a lot of your hits. But 2 good resounding hits at the start.
86 points damage, so it's still alright.
Blummin' heck. Let me get the calculator. Peas and rice. He's not in a good way on the floor. He's about to get up in a bit.
And I'll slip into. I don't need to do a thicket of blades because I'm with.
I think we say like a cozy jumper.
Yeah. I should have done martial spirit really. That's silly. I forgot.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah. Next time.
So no stance.
I'll drop into martial spirit now. I should have done it at the start of the turn, and then I would have 4.
Fair enough. In that case, we are back to the top of the round. Firstly, the Jester who has not succeeded on a save yet. Nope. He's still just screaming soundlessly on the floor. This one that's been battered spends half its movement to stand up.
I hit him again.
No, oh sorry, you're right,
Oh.
yes.
The one that's next to me.
Yep, I was doing the other one, but I didn't say which one, so it makes sense. They're both doing the same
Well,
thing.
you said the one that had been battered, so I assumed it was the one I had been battered.
Yeah, you're right. Me being an idiot. But yes, he would have done that anyway. So,
41.
is a hit.
That's a relief, because if 41 did, I'd be a little concerned. 34 as Conrad. He's basically just done 6 hits in a row where he's just doing the same thing of like.
And what is it like as it stands up and you turn it into dust and ash?
Like it's halfway up, it's like standing, and he's like, no! And just smashes it back down, and it just.
Yeah, like dropping something heavy onto an incredibly dusty floor. It just.
Exactly.
The ash just bounces up and disappears into the air around you. You get a bit of Jester on you. This one at the back, though, is able to stand up. And then 5, 10, 15, 20. It just does, yeah. 25, 45. There. Only gets to there with difficult terrain. But it is enough to get 1 hit on you, Conrad, as it is just within range. Your armor class is 28? Oh, I am sorry. That is a thwack.
I'm sorry. I like to be hit.
Well,
Ooh.
it comes with 19 points of damage, and I need you to make a will save, please.
I will use Diamond Defense, which I haven't used yet. And that's right. So that's 36 plus 17. That's 53
Is that the highest roll we've had?
Close.
on a d20.
Probably.
It's got to be up there.
It's got to be up there. I got 50 earlier, I think.
Well, now we've got 53, so that's currently on the leaderboard as the highest D20 roll of the campaign so far.
I'll write it down.
When you can add your level to an already quite high roll.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one. It's on the cards for some others as well.
Yes.
You resist the urge to start laughing as the creature is desperately trying to break your spirit, shall we say. But that is all that the two of them left can do. Bracken.
Well, rainbows rain from on high as the prismatic eye targets the jester that's rushed Conrad there.
Yep.
We'll get him out of the way first because his attack is much lower on his touch AC. 18 on his touch. Probably
that is a miss.
Yeah. And then illusionary Bracken moves across here. Will cast. Why not? We're gonna go for another prismatic ray
On the jester who just attacked Conrad.
Correct.
Cool.
20 on his touch.
20 is still a miss.
Yeah, I thought so. That was shit.
That was a bad roll, I'm afraid.
So 2 blasts of rainbow light, both ineffective. That's my turn.
Yeah, some misses there, which... It's alright, it happens sometimes. But... the jester still stands. The guards, however... are going to desperately try... Oh, yes they are. To get their senses back. No. 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 All three of them still just lying down, accepting their fate. The one in front of you, Conrad, although you just kind of pushed him away, is just going to lunge back in again. That is possibly a critical, so it is a hit, but let's see. It's just a hit. He doesn't confirm the crit. The second hit... Oh, that's a shame. It's a good roll, but it's not enough to hit him on his second attack. So you get 1 hit from him, as he does 4 points of damage with his long sword.
How many was that, sorry?
4.
Wow.
A mighty 4.
Coming along there, pal.
It's a nice looking sword as well. Just, yeah. Didn't roll very well.
Oh well.
Oh well. Not even sure if that bypasses any damage reduction you might have.
I don't have any damage reduction at the moment. And it would have, slightly.
Where he gives a mild cut at you, but that is just... He swings across. Ooh, that's sharp. You acknowledge that maybe this guard, not only is he resilient in mind somewhat, but he keeps his tools sharp. He is a good member of the... You should have him. You should bring him into the Vissier house. But it is your turn.
I will change my stance. No, I'm not. I will, however, perform an ancient mountain hammer on the jester.
Yeah.
I'm going to take 5 off this and add that to my AC using combat expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Does 37 hit?
No.
It doesn't. That's a worry.
I'm just checking.
What?
Yeah, he's not flat-footed. He's not have any negatives. That does not hit his normal armor class.
Armor class is over 37.
And he's just a clone.
Yep.
So a lesser version.
Well, there we go. That's it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that completely... I mean, I say completely. It almost hits him, but it just ricochets off as its unnatural defenses envelop your chain, and you almost struggle to pull the chain back out of it again. Their turn. Now that one is still flailing. He succeeds. He's now just stunned. Good for him. This one is... He breaks... His left arm just explodes into tentacles as he attempts a full round of attack on you, Conrad. Letting go of all grace and humour, it's just going to attempt to slam and break you. 28.
No, 33 this turn.
33. That's a miss. That's a miss. Or that hits your armor class but doesn't exceed it. And that one, one hit only gets you. That could have been 3. I don't know why, that could have been 3. That could have been 3 if I could count. You're very lucky. Firstly, you take 12 points of damage, and then we need to make an opposed grapple save from 1.
Opposed grapple.
You've got a chance here. That was an appalling roll from my part.
Not as bad as that.
I don't critically fail, so that beats you, I'm afraid. One tentacle wraps around you, and you feel it as it cracks some of your ribs. You take 3 points of constitution damage.
Ooh, hello.
And he gets a bit of health back. That is its turn. He still has you grappled at the moment. Bracken.
Wow. Bracken watches this happen. And the creature is grappled, Conrad, right, with those tentacles?
One of them has grappled Conrad.
The creature sees Bracken just standing next to him, like by his shoulder, looking at the arm that's like grappled Conrad. And Bracken looks at the creature and says, "Why do you act this way? You could be so much more. You aren't a simulacrum. You're the real one. As a matter of fact, you're the only real thing here." As Bracken begins to convince the simulacrum of the philosophical idea known as solipsism, whereby pangs of loneliness grips Bracken's heart for a second as he completes the spell, and upon choosing the target, the feeling subsides and even a ghostly pale yellow mist swirls around his target for a moment as he attempts to manipulate the senses of one creature so that it perceives itself to be the only real creature in existence, and everything around it is merely an illusion. If the target fails the save, it is convinced of the unreality of every situation it might encounter. It takes no actions, not even purely mental actions, and instead watches the world around it with bemusement. The subject becomes effectively helpless, keyword, and takes no steps to defend itself from any threat. Please make a will save.
of
27.
Conrad, you feel for a second the tentacle just get a smidge tighter. It's only getting tighter because it's pulling away until that tentacle pulls completely off you and you see it. The grin goes, the smile gone, and it falls to its knees, slumped. And it just doesn't do anything.
1 round per level, 20 rounds.
Helpless for 20 rounds. Gosh.
Even if I hit it.
The prismatic eye blazes against the one above.
The one on the floor.
22 to its touch. This one at the far end.
And this one has a penalty to bits because it is prone. That hits.
Please roll a d8 for me, please, as the prismatic spray connects.
That's a 5.
Fortitude saving throw of 19, so...
Oh, we'll do it with a d20, not a d8.
It is the prismatic eye, so it's...
Oh, I rolled a 2.
Hey. This thing becomes a permanent fixture of that stone floor because it's flailing away and then it transforms into stone forever!
Highkeep now has a new statue. And it's not even a nice statue because this one is lying on the floor like... So much so. Let's see if I can give it a horrible tint. There we go. It is gone.
That's my turn.
Excellent stuff. With one of them now a permanent fixture to the Highkeep defences. The guards try to come back to their senses. Oh my days, he rolls a 20. One of them's okay. This one is now stunned.
They're not stopping!
This one comes in for 2 attacks. Misses. Misses.
Would he have had to roll a 20?
Maybe. He only hit you last time because he rolled a threat.
Okay.
That is the guard's turn. Conrad. There is a jester just there.
Well, I need to heal that constitution damage, so I'm not going to absolutely kill him totally yet, because I'm going to use Strike of Righteous Vitality to try and cast heal on myself.
Well, he's helpless.
Well,
so...
he's helpless, which means it's an auto crit. So your normal damage will critical against him.
And the table.
And
the table.
You will then take your healing effect. So would you like to roll me a D100, please, to see what type of critical it is? Because we're not doing a coup de grace.
45.
Critical multiplier +1.
Very respectable. Very respectable.
Yeah, we won't complain about that.
It's equivalent to, I imagine, 3 or 4 hits.
3 hits. Just
Like, just 121 damage.
It wasn't even the main point.
It wasn't even the main idea behind your turn.
Could you just describe how you kill him in one and heal and restore yourself all in one fell swoop?
Yeah. So it's like it's kneeling on the floor, right, and sort of
Yeah.
head down. Conrad's just going to whip the chain around its neck. It wraps around 3 times, 1 for each critical modifier, catches the other end, and then just slowly squeezes it. And as he does that, the chain lights up and pulses back towards him, energy from the creature, healing him 150 points and removing his constitution damage.
And with an almost shockwave of damage, you see the water in the fountain just thum out of it. And with that one dropping, with no more simulacrums left, you see all of the remaining knights, just as if strings are cut, collapse down, stopped. As with the Grey Jesters down, none left are there controlling these knights. And the ones that were motionlessly falling are even more motionlessly falling.
If possible, they're more motionless.
The one in front of you, Conrad, it drops its weapons and sort of falls onto you and then sort of starts sliding to the floor.
Yeah, Conrad will catch and gently place him down.
And I mean, he's breathing, but that 1,000-yard stare is now more. The last time you remember seeing this was back in Liberty's Crown. And you remember seeing the victims before as if all body, no soul. And that is what's happened with all of these. And as all the spells start to come to an end, the guards that are already lying on the floor, they're not responsive. They are just lying there still.
Conrad will place them in recovery positions, then swallow their tongues. And then turn to the illusion of Bracken and say, I don't know where you are, so I'm going to talk to you.
The illusion flickers, and then Bracken standing beside you on the other side. The blood rain still pouring down, so he's got just streaks of just blood covering his face. We tried, Conrad. It's the best we could have done. Perhaps there is hope for them yet.
I'm assuming none of those, whatever they were, jesters were the real deal.
Simulacrums, Conrad, magical clones created over a number of days. Each one a copy of the original, but only a fraction of its power. We have an even tougher fight ahead. Bracken's gaze turns to the door. I'm guessing that's a doorway over there, Mike?
Yes, where the change in stonework leads beyond the torches is the gate.
The prismatic eye blasts at the door.
The doors seem to just open. There's no defences to them. But what you see through the gate is not the familiar grounds of the Lavalians, Conrad. Instead, looking through the gate, you see a dark purple sky and what seems like a towering tree.
Well...
And looking up above the wall obviously doesn't match.
wish I could have shown you this place with this abyssal taint, Bracken. It's normally a beautiful place.
And it shall be again. We shall make it so. We shall reignite the fires of Highkeep and restore its people and your family. Can I do a quick check on the tree, Michael? Looking beyond, does it... I'm guessing it looks like it's opening to a different plane of reality. Can I do a knowledge to see if I know of a great tree of this kind?
You can argue a planes roll.
Listen, I really reckon that planes roll.
I feel it. I feel
All right, you asked me to argue it, so I will. Damn you!
Damn you!
Damn you! Damn your eyes! 27.
That looks somewhat like the Feywild, but from what you can see from where you are, it's not quite right. Yes, that is a portal, and through there is somewhere else. That is a different, roughly you think a sort of demi-plane, a pocket dimension. It's not quite the Feywild, even though there are similarities, just as it's not quite the Abyss.
It is a facade that lies before us, Conrad, like the jesters. It is a mimicry of some sort. It is not the Feywild, it is not the Abyss. And we have battled them both. We shall battle this too.
Yes, I just hope that there's still some people left to save.
Bracken wipes the blood from his eyes, and we'll say, are you ready?
Always.
And Bracken will sweep towards the portal.
Of course.
Conrad, either side of the fountain.
You move past the fountain, up the stairs, around the new statue, and you step through the portal. And yes, as mentioned, your view is of a dark purple sky and a towering tree. One bigger than the keep that should stand in its place. Its root and trunk looking decayed, climbing up to a point where it looks like the top of the tree has been wrested off, leaving an impression on the sky where colossal branches should be. And as you step through, you see the keep entrance behind you, exposing this portal as truth. And a faint maniacal laugh can be heard coming from the tree in the distance. And that is where we shall leave it for tonight.
Woo! Wow.
Well, some good killing was had then.
Great killing was had.
I will say, that control you got on them, Bracken, was so effective. Like, if I had two that had passed, I could have done a lot of damage to you both.
Mm-hmm,
but the fact that it got literally just to one.
I was like, they were nasty, and opening wise, we started dead slow. And then that thing happened to Conrad, and I forgot. Like, that was such a huge mistake. That could have been it.
Yeah.
So that was totally my bad. My plan was quicken a spell, use my actual spell to do Greater Dispel and have a chance of just removing the effect off you, so then you could go straight back into fighting. And I just blanked it from my brain and went, oh, I guess I need to see what they are. I just forgot and then cast True Seeing instead. And then, ironically, saw my great mistake.
True Seeing. I never helped him.
Exactly.
No, it wasn't the end of the world. It was only two rounds, so
Yeah, but that could have been bad.
and you made up for it the next round.
You
I
certainly did.
Yes.
Well, you both did.
Yeah.
I think you were lucky in that you didn't get to see their proper party trick, shall we say, and it's not pleasant. They tried a few times to hit you with something, and only the illusion got
the laughter.
some.
Yeah.
No, there's more to it than that. But maybe we'll see what happens in the future.
Well, given that the real version of the Grey Jester is more powerful, I dare say we probably will see that, because I got the impression that I felt like I would probably struggle to make those saves. If Conrad with that insane ability
I
to...
only get that one
true.
True. It's got to be the right time, otherwise
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's a gamble.
Wow.
But
anyway, yeah, sorry to go off on one, but there we are.
that's all right. But let's... Who did I start with last time? Was it Conrad or Bracken?
I don't remember.
Can't remember. Maybe it was me, because it was...
About his family.
Yeah, it was quite...
I'll start with you again, Conrad. Thoughts on the session?
Yeah, I loved meeting some members of the Synod. They're a bunch of pricks.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, just absolutely don't give a shit, do they?
No.
So yeah, that was a fun conversation. I quite enjoyed that, and trying to not give away anything about Bracken that they could read into, which I thought was quite good fun in terms of navigating conversations. And then the fucking jesters, just nasty little shits.
Yeah.
But a good fun in the slightly different sort of combat to usual, once I realised that it was better not to get hit by the jesters, which is not the usual way of Conrad. Normally he likes to take a bit of damage so that he can dish it back out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Obviously it's getting to the point where it feels like, especially with the Synod guy saying, like, there's been a lot of death. That's definitely on Conrad's mind. So, himself.
Yes. The non-active, non-contributing Synod. By the way,
Yeah.
the little pricks is what they are. We're just going to put this here just for you. We're helping you.
Yeah, this is us helping by saying loads of people have died.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, mate.
Anytime. Yeah, they are. They're not nice. But speaking of the Synod, Bracken, thoughts, Rob?
So overall, first of all, deeply enjoyed the session as usual. I think this might have been my favourite session of the whole thing, I think, so far. Not that I'm downplaying the others, because they've all been great, but I really enjoyed this one because it had a lot to do with, and a lot of rewarding content spawned and set up from a previous game. So we've first of all, had a chat to the Synod, and then we encountered the jester, that we have long heard tell of.
Yes.
The conversation in particular with the Synod I loved, because we got to talk about Asher of Lux, which is a looming threat that has been a threat within your settings for a while now, Michael, or rather your games that you've been running. Which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed us getting to recap a little bit about what happened in the previous time. I really enjoyed that the Dominion are as much assholes here as they are in main realm.
Assholes everywhere.
I like that the Dominion are they're almost like a bridge in a way, like, and that's really satisfying for the world building part of me, because like it's something that we get to share. Like the links between our games are there, and it just makes it rewards both of the games in a way. Because
and that's I don't want to touch main realm at the moment, but I like the connections when they're there.
Yeah, big time.
And like the Dominion especially, yes.
And they're acting exactly as they would. I'm like, that's exactly how they would act. Like, of course they would come in and the Synod in particular, yeah, real arseholes. I love that there was a diviner there. I love that we got to, like, have a bit of a back and forth. Really exciting to learn that they're looking for the Liberoctis, which of course is Bracken's spellbook. So that was just a little bit of tension. I was like, oh my god, the Liberoctis is literally on my person. It has illusionary spells cast on it, so that would be interesting to see if they would be able to tell it was the Liberoctis.
Well, you know what the hobbits say in the Two Towers?
Oh, yes, I know what you're about to say.
The closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm.
Farther you are from harm, yes, exactly. So that was really rewarding, just that whole thing, and it just felt like really good character work from Conrad as well. Like you're just not gonna do. You've not helped. You're just up here looking after your own interests, and you're fucking really powerful wizards capable of casting immense Bracken level spells, and you're not fucking doing anything about it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So there's that as well, and yeah, just the facing the jester after such a long build up has been really, really satisfying.
I think that goes back to my 13th or 14th session in my previous campaign.
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it?
It's ludicrous.
Yeah. I think we might have to do... It might be worthwhile us sitting down and doing like a... like lore dumps here and there. I think that'd be really fun to do, because I am really enjoying our nods to the previous games, but it would be fun just to maybe have a sit down sometime and talk about them. Because there's so
I
much
found
about it.
Yeah.
Because I was giving you the reminder that Astroflux was using essentially surface sort of scrying to get that information from you. Hence why he appeared. And I was going, there's so much more I could just throw out here. I was like, maybe another time.
Because Astroflux, yeah, as we rightly said in the session, and that's something that I've always remembered, was that like he was stuck in that infinite prism in the schism, the Aurora Schism, which for those watching is like a rip in reality. And Bracken being lured there with the ultimate spell book with infinite magical spells was the thing that he used to free himself. And the Liberoctis has never been the same since as well. So that's like an unresolved thread, that the book has been a bit different ever since then. And
there is also that extra thing that I think you mentioned, but you haven't yet. It was the Synod who put him in there.
Mm.
Oh, Synod trapped him, yeah.
They put him into an infinite loop in the Planar Wars.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that Bracken only peripherally knows. Like, Bracken finally learned about the Planar Wars towards the end of the last campaign, so he has like an inkling about something insane happened at some point.
And he only heard a couple of versions of what people saw, but what I like about the idea of the Infinity Peaks is that it is an infinite set of ideas.
Yes.
It's everything is happening.
Everything happened, yeah. Everything happened in the Planar Wars, or at least the end of the Planar Wars. Yep, so that's really exciting. Sorry to go on and on and on, but like it just is like food for my brain, and it's just really rewarding to... That's what's so good about it, because we all build this world, so then we all get to enjoy it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got to talk to the Synod today. That just excites me so much. So yeah, really, really happy about that. And also, kudos, dude. We may be epic level, but every combat that we've gone into doesn't feel insurmountable. It feels fair. Like, they're doing their best to do what they can do, and some people we flatten, as rightly we should, because they just have to roll a bad roll and then boom, save or die, save or effect. Or Conrad just wilts them with fucking insane damage and constitution damage. But it doesn't feel like we're mowing through the significant encounters. Like, we had to work them out. We had to fight smart again, and it's just really rewarding. So rewarding to play.
I'm glad.
And yeah, just kudos for setting up some great battles, man. And I can't wait to see what's in store for us next. Honestly, I'm so buzzing for it.
Well,
Yeah.
you are going into the heart of the Jester's domain. And for those of you watching now, or after the fact, firstly, thank you for sticking with us. And tune in next time. We will be delving into the Jester's domain and what happens to the free duo, the free company. Well, even I don't know at this point.
I would also like to
knows how
ask,
you'll react.
I'd like to put out a plea. If you're watching this live, but you don't, or you don't watch us live and you watch us on YouTube, please consider giving us a follow on Twitch. We would really love to get to 100 followers. And we've been staying around the similar sort of mark lately, and it would mean so much if you've enjoyed any session that we've ever played with Roll the Bones, if you would consider following us, even if you don't watch us live, because it does help us out, it does help us grow. We'd really appreciate that. I'll buy you a dice, or a die, or I'll like, I don't know, like I'll invent something for you, or speak to you in riddles for a bit.
You heard him, he's going to talk to you in riddles.
We'll work something out. It's official. I'll speak to you in riddles for a bit. But yeah. Sorry, Mike. I just thought I'd put that out because I was like, I really need to start asking people if they wouldn't mind, if they like supporting us. That's the best way to support us, by following us on Twitch right now. That would be admirable.
Absolutely.
And very happy.
And
for me. Yes.
yeah, that would be epic. Like an epic game, it would be epic for us.
Very much. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, quite all right. But I think that is a lovely note to say, as we always do when we sign off. Blue bones them rolls.
Blue bones and rolls.
Blue bones.
Next up, bone them good!